Father, we thank you for being a faithful God, that you never fail us, God. You are there for us in every season of our lives. And you have been faithful and providing for all that we need, Lord. We thank you for that. Lord, we pray that you will bless the offering this morning, that, Lord, this offering will go out and it will bring glory to Jesus Christ and will expand your kingdom on this earth, Lord. Father, as we listen to your word, we ask God for attentive ears. We pray, God, that you will open our hearts, that your word will find fertile soil in us. Lord, that every word that comes from you, Father, will germinate and, Lord, will bear fruit in our lives. Sanctify me as I speak your word. May the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Good morning again for those of you who are online. The title of my sermon today is Celebration of Love. I will be talking to you about courtship, about marriage, and about sex. Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. I think it is very urgent for us to be talking about this subject. If we don't talk about this, where do our people learn about love, marriage, and sex? We are talking about clean sex. If we don't teach about this, our young people will learn about this from their friends, from the internet, and many times they will not be getting the right perspective. My brothers and sisters, I found this slide in the internet. It speaks of a moral decay from the time of Queen Victoria's reign in the 19th century until now. You know, it takes thousands of years to build a moral society, but it only takes a moment. In this case, it's 100 years for everything to be undone. My brothers and sisters, the 20th century was called the era of eroticism. The world was undergoing sexual revolution. And when the sexual revolution began, it was a downhill slope for morality in the world. Conception was replaced by contraception. Responsibility was replaced by pleasure. For a moment, we think that the world is getting better. It is not, my brothers and sisters. The sexual revolution today has come into our homes through the internet and through media. According to BBFC research, in 2020, 51% of porn surfers in the internet are below 13 years of age. The porn industry is worth between 9 to 15 billion. They don't really know how much because a lot of it are operating from homes. And it's a thriving and a growing industry. You know, same-sex marriage was unheard of in the past. But today it is gaining acceptance. And in some countries, it is even legal for same-sex marriage. My brothers and sisters, the world is losing its bearing. It has lost its moral compass. And we, the church, are the light of the world. And we have to stand up. We have to uphold moral uprightness. And it starts with us. It starts with our marriage. It starts from our home. And it starts in the church. You know, we need to give the world the right perspective, a biblical perspective of love, marriage, and sex. It is not anytime, anywhere, and anyone. This is what the world is telling our young people today. My brothers and sisters, sex is not a dirty word. For your information, sex is God's idea. God created it. Even before the fall. Sex, my brothers and sisters, is not just for us to make babies. It's not just for procreation. It is for our pleasure. And sex is beautiful if it is done in the context of a marriage. If it is done outside of that context, it is going to hurt people. It is going to break lives. Church, you are very quiet. Let me say this, that sexual love is to be celebrated. God wants us to celebrate sexual love because He created it for a married couple, for their pleasure and for their enjoyment. It is not just satisfying for the married couple, it is glorifying to God. Today we want to turn into this book. It's there in the Bible, okay? Right in the middle of your Bible, there is this book called Songs of Songs. How many of you, this is your favorite book in the Bible? And we want to glean from Solomon's wisdom about love. There are 3 books in the Bible that are attributed to Solomon. We don't know whether he wrote them or it is his collection, but it is attributed to Solomon. Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs. Proverbs is wisdom for living. Ecclesiastes is wisdom for thinking. Song of Songs is wisdom for loving. Song of Songs is a book about marriage. It's about courtship, about sex. I'm not kidding you. Yes, it's about sex. Nevertheless, this book, it is very seldom preached because it is very puzzling. It is very hard to understand. It took me many weeks to prepare this sermon, a lot of reading. Still, it is very hard to understand. It is highly debated. You know, even scholars cannot agree to the title of this book. In Song of Songs, chapter 1, it says the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. What does it mean? Was it written by Solomon for Solomon or about Solomon? It can mean either of these. So it doesn't matter whether it's Song of Solomon or Song of Songs. Right? We don't have to debate on this. Most importantly is we get the message that what God is trying to tell us through this book. Song of Songs suggests that it is the greatest song of Solomon's collection. The Bible tells us that Solomon wrote 1,005 songs, and this is perhaps his favorite, the best song, either his collection or he had written. It is puzzling because when you read the Song of Songs, you don't know whether there is a storyline or it is just a book with songs putting together. Is it like a musical, something like the Les Miserables or the Nutcracker or even Bollywood, you know, in between they sing and then got story, you know, is it like that? And the book is confusing. It has voices here and there, right? Voices of a woman, voices of a man, and voices of who, I don't know, different people, daughters of Jerusalem. And in the early version of the Bible, they don't have that heading that tells you it is he who is speaking, it is she, or they are the friends. So when you read, you don't know who is who that is talking. Right? But if you have NIV Bible, it tells you he, she, and all that. Okay? And sometimes they are also confused. If you read different versions, sometimes the he becomes the she, sometimes the she becomes the he. So it is complicated. And the book uses figurative words. Like, for example, the book used garden to describe a woman's body. Okay? Garden. And the book uses words like the eyes is like dove. The neck is like a towel. Uses this kind of words that it doesn't make sense to us in our context today. And the book is R-rated, no kidding. Okay, it's R-rated, and it has explicit sexual contents. It describes about body parts like breast and navel, and a lot of different other parts. So this leads to many different approach in interpreting this book of the Bible. Some say that this book is about a relationship between God and Israel. And the church tradition say that this is a book about Christ and the church. Okay, this is allegorical approach. And then there is this typological approach. Means that this book actually is a shadow of something greater that is coming. Okay, it tells of something else in future. This is just one thing, but it has a deeper meaning. And every character represents something. Okay? And people who preach like that, it is very dangerous because you will get into spiritualizing the text. Right? And you will find that some people can preach 100 over sermons. Charles Spurgeon preached 86 sermons out of these 8 chapters of Song of Solomon. 86. Preach one message was so difficult. And there are others who say that just read this book as is, right? Literal approach. It is just treat it as a romance between a man and a woman. That's it. Read it like this. It's a love story. That's it. The literal approach. Even if you read that book, to me, the book has a story, okay? But the story is very vague, okay? It is not in sequence. You will find that there are three main characters in this book. The first character is the Shulamite girl, okay? The Shulamite girl is a girl from a place called Shulam, okay? It's north of Galilee, right? This is where the girl comes from. And then there is a shepherd, and then there is a king. Of course, the king is Solomon. So there are these three characters. And one school of thought is that these three people are engaged in a love triangle. This shepherd boy is engaged with this Shulamite girl, and they are in love. And then Solomon comes in with his riches and tries to lure this girl to himself. Okay, this is one school of thought. And another school of thought is that Solomon and the shepherd boy are the same person. Both of them is actually the same person. Okay? How is that so? Listen on. Okay? And today we're going to assume, okay, that the shepherd and Solomon are the same person, and I will tell you why. And this book is about the couple's love journey through their courtship, their wedding, and their marriage. You following me? Okay so far? Okay, now it comes the difficult part. All right, difficult part. I need to give you a background or a preamble so that you can understand and grab hold of the story. Okay, otherwise you will be confused. It's a strange book, okay? Song of Songs, you can actually read from chapter 8 onwards, or you can start in the middle or anywhere, doesn't matter, right? So, Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 11 and 12, gives us a clue of the flow of the story. Okay, it says Solomon had a vineyard in Baal Hamon. He leased the vineyards to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. And my own, the Shulamite girl is speaking here. My own vineyard is before me. You, Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruits to 200. And this is what I think is the story about. Okay. Solomon, as you know, he's a king, right? And he has a vineyard in the countryside. So he visits his vineyard probably very often. Perhaps he visits his vineyard as a getaway to be free from the hustle and bustle life and his responsibilities in the palace. So maybe when he is in the countryside, he dressed down. He dressed like a shepherd boy. And he was there in that countryside when he saw this beautiful girl, that Shulamite girl. And that's how they met each other in the countryside. You know, it's kind of like the Coming to America story. You watched that movie before, Eddie Murphy? Yeah. You also watch movie, yeah? So, the story begins like every couple that is dating. A spark in that meeting set the relationship on fire. That shepherd boy, or Solomon, was deeply in love with the Shulamite girl. And it starts that dating relationship. In Songs 1, 2-4, it starts this way: let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine, because of the fragrance of your good ointment. Your name is ointment poured forth. Therefore the virgins love you. Draw me away. Verse 2 begins with the Shulamite girl expressing her love for Solomon. She wants to be intimate with him. She longs for his man to draw her away and take her away to be with him. And this Shulamite girl has friends, called the daughters of Jerusalem. And she has real good friends, they are not jealous of her. They are happy for her because their good friend is in love. And it says, we will be glad and rejoice in you. We will remember your love more than wine. And then the story changed gear a little bit. Okay, verse 5 and verse 6. She described her own shortcomings. She said, I am dark but lovely. O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Okay, I don't understand. Okay, all it means is the tent of Kedar is dark. Okay, maybe dark green color, okay, like my pants. Do not look upon me because I am dark. Okay, she said, don't judge me. Because the sun has tanned me, my mother's sons were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard I have not kept. She was speaking figuratively about her complexion, okay, like the tents, like the curtain. And she explained why she is dark, because she had to work under the sun. She takes care of the family's vineyard because her brother made her work, kind of like the Cinderella story. And she said that, but my own vineyard I have not kept. Because of her hard work, she didn't have time to maintain herself. So she described her body, her face and everything as a vineyard. Okay? So this is how you understand Song of Solomon. You don't read literally, you read the meaning behind the word. Okay? It is actually talking about she is not able to take care of herself, that she doesn't look fair like all the other women. And the subsequent verse tells us that she is in love with a mysterious man. And this person that she's in love with, the shepherd boy, frequently goes missing, and she tries to find him and she couldn't find him. Okay. Tell me, O you whom I love, where you feed your flock, where you made it rest at noon. Tell me, she asks around, tell me, where is my man? She goes around searching for him. but she does not know where her man is. And her friends suggested to her, maybe you can follow the shepherd's trail. Because your man is a shepherd, he may be taking his flock to graze and you may be able to find him there. They call him, O fairest of women, follow the footsteps of the flock and feed your little goats beside the shepherd's tent. He could be there. And then she was looking for him, and then the story changed, and then they see each other again. Okay, they are on that dating scene again. Right? How it happened, don't know. Somehow, you have to read in between the lines. And then she said, while the king is at his table, my perfume sends forth its fragrance. A bundle of myrrh is my beloved to me that lies at night between my breasts. My beloved is a cluster of henna blooms in the vineyard of En-Gedi. While the king was at the table, don't know, maybe they were having dinner. She was like pouring perfume on her body, so that the perfume could go out to that man, and attract him. So it's okay to use perfume, please do. Right? Man likes their woman to smell good. And he said his beloved is like a bundle of myrrh. Myrrh and frankincense are very expensive spices that is used to make perfume. Right? She is speaking figuratively again that this is how precious her man is to her, like frankincense and myrrh that she puts close to her chest. And then her man, praises her. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes. You are fair. Maybe refers to the skin, the complexion, because it's talking about the body parts, the eyes. But we are not sure, it could be something more. Maybe she's a good girl. A girl with noble character. You see, when the man praises her, it's just 2 lines, and that when the girl praises him, it's like writing an essay. This is a difference between men and women. Okay, the nature is just somehow different. She said, behold, you are handsome, my beloved. Yes, pleasant. Also, our bed is green, the beams of our houses are cedar, and our rafters of fir. Like an apple tree among the trees of the woods, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down in his shade with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. Men and women really very different. You see here, this woman here talks about her man until the future. Right? Until the future, until their house, until, the provision, what the man is going to bring back for the household. She thinks very far. Okay, but the man, no. Just think very short. So this is really a big difference. Men just talk in general. Woman thinks about the future. The man thinks about now. He brought me to the banqueting house, dating together, and his banner over me was love. Sustain me with cakes of raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am lovesick. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. while she is just fantasizing about her man. Men, we must really learn, okay, if you are married, you must really know your woman, okay. They wear a very different psyche, right? They are very different from us. You will get wiser as you are married longer, okay. Your ears also get longer. And then she gives a very good piece of advice to the unmarried people. Okay, unmarried people, pay attention. She said, I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. This is a repeated phrase in Song of Songs. 3 times it appears in the 8 chapters. It means that love is powerful and love is delightfully pleasing. Do not stir up its passion until you are ready for it. Once you start, it is very hard to stop. Young people, people who are unmarried here, only start serious dating when 2 persons are ready to go that journey, that long distance journey. Don't go in with 2 eyes closed, not even 1 eye. Think carefully before you jump into it. Because once you catch the spark, it becomes fire and it's uncontrollable. This is what love is. This is what romance is. And you will see in Song of Songs that this cycle always repeats. He appears and then he disappears. He appears and then he disappears. And you can speculate why. And like every married couple, like every dating couple, they have their issues, right? When he disappears, she becomes lovesick, longing for him. She has bad dreams and so on and so forth. And then suddenly, his man appears. Okay, his man appears at the far side of the mountain, leaping like a gazelle, coming towards her. And then when she sees her man, everything forgot already, never mind. You know, her heart starts to beat, start to pump, and my man is here. Everything becomes normal again, start dating. Sounds very familiar, right? Let's move on. And this girl, right? This Shulamite girl, she's often dreamy and lovesick. She is missing her man, and she always tries to look for him. It says, by night on my bed, I sought the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. I will rise now, I said, and go about the city, in the streets and in the square. I will seek the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. The watchmen who go about the city found me, and I said, have you found the one I love? He goes missing, she goes searching, and that cycle repeats. And then she said to herself, this is what I would do. This time I'm smarter already. When I find him, I will chain him up. When I found the one I love, I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him to the house of my mother, locked him up, and in the chamber of her who conceived me. And then again it comes this reminder in chapter 3, verse 5. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles and by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. You know, love can make you so high. In one moment you are in the cloud, and another moment you are in the mud. This is how it is. And then after going through some rough patches like every other couple, they are getting married. The relationship has progressed to the next stage. And then there is this very spectacular surprise. Her man was missing and then suddenly appeared in this great procession. He appeared in style, in this huge procession with soldiers carrying arms. And then, soldiers also wear perfume and frankincense, expensive spices coming to take the bride to be his wife. What a spectacular surprise. This dude really knows how to please this woman. Man, we got to learn from him. Let's start a procession. Okay, I haven't seen this yet, okay? And maybe this is one idea for us to copy. Is it okay that if I don't read everything, because it's going to take a long time, and I will encourage you to go back and read for yourself, okay? We're just going to fly through this, right? And just go back and read for yourself. And Solomon just appeared in style. Take her to be his bride. And then Solomon serenades her with a love song and with a love poetry. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn sheep, which have come up from the washing, every one of which bears twins, and none is barren among them. Your lips are like a strand of scarlet, and your mouth is lovely. Your temples, temples means cheek, behind your veil are like a piece of pomegranate. Wow. I don't know whether to copy this or not. Okay? My wife will not understand. This is in a different context. Right? I think when Solomon said this to the Shulamite girl, she just, wow. In the cloud. But we cannot say this to our wife, right? Especially in Chinese, you don't say that your wife looks like a horse. And his head looks like a cow. Gu Tao Be Bin. You get slapped. She says, your neck is like the tower. Oh, don't say your neck is like the giraffe. Like the Tower of David, built for an armory, on which hang 1,000 bucklers. All shields of mighty men, and your breasts are like 2 fawns. Your breasts are like deer. Apa itu? Twins of gazelle, which feed among the lilies. You are all fair, my love. There is no spot in you. Wow. You are so perfect. This one can say, okay? Can say. Right? Your wife want to hear you say that she is beautiful, she is perfect. Okay? And be detailed, man, be detailed. Learn from this dude, man. One by one, her eyes, her hair, her eyebrow, her eyelashes, say one by one. Sure can work one. Solomon really loved this woman. This woman really loved him. This is marriage. You love each other deeply. And you say kind words to each other. Don't talk like you are fighting. Say kind words. Solomon said, you have ravished my heart. Wow, this word very cheap. My sister, my spouse, you have ravished my heart with one look of your eyes. Oh, this dude is really very clever. With one link of your necklace, how fair is your love, my sister, my spouse. How much better than wine is your love, and the scent of your perfume than all spices. Your lips, oh my spouse, drip as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under your tongue, and the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. Wow, I think Solomon beats any Frenchman. It's very romantic. Maybe we can memorize this man and practice this on our wives, okay? Isn't this a good suggestion? We start a men's fellowship and then we memorize this. And then he praises her virginity. Again, he uses figurative speech. He said that her woman is like a garden enclosed. She called her my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain seal. Your plants are an orchard of pomegranates. Okay, plants, orchard, garden enclosed. He was talking about her virginity that she kept only for her man. And on her wedding night, she gives her virginity to her man. They consummated their marriage. Consummated means they make love to each other lah. My daughter is listening, so I better speak a language that she can understand. Isaac is too young, he doesn't know what you are talking about. They consummated their marriage. I have come to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh and with my spice. I've eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I've drunk my wine with milk. And then that's over. The wedding and that wedding night is over. People say when the wedding night is over, real life begins. The real married life. Some people told me that they even quarrel during honeymoon. And then it tells us stories like the bride was having bad dream again. Bad dream probably suggests they had marital conflicts like every couple do. Again, she dreamt of her husband missing. I wanted to say dustbin. These men always go missing. I don't know why. Maybe go drinking or what. Again, he didn't come home. dreaming, and man went missing. And then perhaps she was traumatized by her past experience. Because Solomon, before they got married, when they were dating, he was always missing. And then she goes searching for him, and this cycle repeats, dreaming. And nobody really knows what actually happened, right? It's just a series of songs. And then people ask her, why are you lovesick? How is your beloved better than others? How is your husband better than other men? And then this is what she said. Okay. I purposely prepared this so that my wife will say this to me. She speaks very highly of her man. It's a lesson for us married couples that we need to learn to speak kindly to each other. He's a real woman. She knows how to boloso the man, you know. My beloved is white and ruddy. Okay. Oh, good complexion. Chief among 10,000. Oh. His head is like finest gold. His locks, means his hair, are wavy and black as raven. His eyes are like doves by the rivers of water, washed with milk and fitly set. Okay, her man comb and style his hair. Okay, not messy. His cheeks are like a bed of spices, banks of scented herbs. When she kisses his cheek, she could smell the scent of perfume. Okay, don't just put here also. His lips are lilies dripping liquid myrrh. His hands are wrought of gold set with beryl. His hands are strong like rods. His body is carved, got 6 packs, ivory inlaid with sapphires. His legs are like pillars of marble set on bases of fine gold. His countenance, his face is like Lebanon, excellent as cedars. His mouth is most sweet. Chui jintia. Yes, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. You see how she praises her man in front of her friends. Women, speak well of your husband, especially when you are talking to people, your friends. This is one of the ways you respect your husband and you honor him. And then he responded by praising her romantically. Oh, my love, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Okay, even a look from the wife. Wah, boleh tahan already. You know, the eyes are very, very powerful. If you look at your husband in a lovely manner, you will melt his heart. Your hair, he's commenting about the wife's hair, like a flock of goats. The teeth, teeth also. Very white, okay. Everyone bears twins. And then he praises her beauty and her character. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. My love, my perfect one, is the only one. the only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed. The queens and the concubines, they praise her. Who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners? And then you have this series of things, right? They praise each other. Okay, mainly it's talking about speak kindly to one another. Okay, praise one another. I will not go through this with you, but go back and read, okay? And maybe you can practice some at home. And then we come to this, and then we want to camp here for a while, okay? There were two repeated lines. One is talking to the unmarried people. Okay? Do not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. Okay, that's one repeated line. And then there is this another repeated line. Okay, it says, I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. This speaks of exclusivity of marriage. Her sexuality is exclusively for her husband. Husbands, have eyes only for your wife, and wives, have eyes only for your husband. This is called marriage. When you are married, you forsake all others. And another advice is that when you are married to your spouse, don't focus on changing your other half. Don't focus on that. Focus on being a better wife or a better husband. Just imagine two persons focus on this by being better for each other. Wow, it fits so well like jigsaw puzzle. Be your best for each other. Do your best for each other, and you will see your marriage work. It is hard work, but it can work. Women, let me tell you one secret. Men are visual. Men are visual. They want to see. So please, wear nice clothes. Okay, when you are married, don't let your hair down. Wear perfume. Okay, don't look lasam. Wear bedroom clothes when you are in the bedroom. When you are outside, please wear properly. Please dress modestly, because you stumble other men outside. Men are very weak. If you wear inappropriately, you wear skimpily, you will stumble them. And then men, speak kind words. Speak lovely words to your wife. When your wife asks you, dear, is this dress beautiful? Make sure you look and then you say, wow, this is so beautiful. This looks so nice. It fits your body, Wow, your face becomes shining with these clothes. Say things like that, Don't say, Allah, everything same one. Just wear whatever you want. Don't say that. Man, we know talk is cheap, but the women, they want to hear. We make sure we talk, And it helps with her mood. When you have a happy wife, you have a happy life. This is true. And couples, let me say this. have a healthy sex life. Have sex frequent enough. I better don't say more, okay? We are coming to the end of the last 7, 8 verses, okay? It says, set. This is what the Shulamite girl, the woman, was saying. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. The message is this, okay? Marriage is a lifelong commitment. Marriage is permanent. It is saying, till death do us part. Okay, this is what marriage means. Make sure when you find someone, you find a partner who is willing to stick on to that relationship through thick and through thin. There is no emergency exit. You go inside, there is no door. You are locked with each other for life until one person dies. This is what marriage means. Each other, you set your spouse as a seal in your heart. Seal, nobody can go in. Jealously guard your relationship from a third party. You have the right to be jealous in a good sense. God is a jealous God in a good sense. God jealously guards our relationship with Him. So do we. So are we. We also guard our relationship with our spouse. Make sure nobody comes in. And then verse 8 and 9, it says, we have a little sister, she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build upon her a battlement of silver, and if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. This is probably talking about the Shulamite girl before she was married. The family guarded her, protected her. They act as their protector to make sure that she kept herself sexually pure until she is married. My friends, we all have a role to play. In this perverse world today, we have to guard our brothers and our sisters, the young people in our midst, especially those in their tender years. We need to guard them. And women, please, again, I say, don't wear skimpy clothes. When you wear skimpy clothes, you just attract wrong people. That's not the way to find a husband. You attract wrong people. You get yourself into trouble. I don't know about other men, but I will not choose a wife who wears skimpy clothes. You ask my wife, I warn her sometimes when she wears a little bit. I say, cannot. She is mine. I only for me to see. And the Shulamite girl herself, she's a good girl. She kept herself sexually pure until she was married. She said, I am a wall. No, not anybody, anytime, anywhere. My breasts are like towers. Okay, nobody can reach my breasts except my husband. I became in his eyes as one who found peace. Girls, trust me. This is the best thing that you can do, and it's honoring to God. Stay sexually pure until you are married, and give your virginity only to your husband. And Song of Songs end with this lovely phrase, come away, my beloved, be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of spices. The story ended with a reminiscence of their happy moment during dating. And what is the message here? The message is that even if you are married for 60 years, 70 years, keep on dating. Relive the beauty of the day that you met each other, that moment. Keep dating your husband and your wife. And here is the summary. There are 2 lessons here. It's taken from the repeated lines. Do not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. And I am my beloved's, and my beloved's are mine. The first lesson is addressed to unmarried people. It says, do not stir up passions of love until 2 persons are ready to make commitment to get married. Okay, if this is not clear enough, this is what it means. Refrain from touching one another in a way that can arouse sexual desires. Commit to remain sexually pure until you are married. Sex must be enjoyed in the context of marriage if we do not want to get hurt. If you find a man or a woman who cannot wait, this person is not worth your time. True love must wait. True love can wait. When you choose a life partner, first, look at this person's life, his walk with Jesus. Does he love God? Does he live for God? If you are dating a person who tells lies and he lied to you, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 times, have character issues that not honoring to God, be very careful. These are red flags. Find someone that is that honors God, that places Jesus first. Not perfect, but want to place Jesus first in his or her life. Find someone who is willing to commit to live with you as your husband or your wife for the rest of your life. because marriage is permanent. And the second advice is to married people. Marriage is a lifelong commitment. Sexual love is exclusive between two married persons. And the best way to protect your marriage is keep loving each other. Speak kindly to one another. Be the best for each other. Don't try to change the other person. Keep your marriage lamp burning. Never stop dating. Have lots of sex. Last already. You may be wondering why this book is in the Bible. Actually, this is one of the two books in the Bible that God's name is not mentioned. You can't find the word God or Jesus in this. Yeah, it may be speaking about Jesus, but there's no God in this. Where is the place of marriage in God's redemptive history? Where is it? The answer is, it is everywhere. The evidence is so clear. In Genesis chapter 2, when God created Adam, He created Eve, and there was a marriage. And the two became one, means there was a union. There was a marriage even before the fall. So, marriage is God's idea. And then, at the end also, in Revelation 19, you see that there was a marriage taking place in the beginning and in the end. That Jesus, the Lamb, married the church, that is His bride. And there was a marriage that takes place in the last days. And then you have this book, Songs of Solomon, that talks about this beautiful relationship between a man and a woman called marriage. It does teach us a lot about biblical manhood, being a husband, being a wife. And then in New Testament, the Apostle Paul talks about the church is Jesus' bride. He said marriage is a mystery. It's like a couple in love with one another. It's like Christ loving the church, having a love relationship. My brothers and sisters, let's not think that we just live to date, get married, and die. Okay? Marriage is not the end of the story. It points to something greater in life. For those of you who are not married, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In some sense, you save yourself from a lot of trouble. But the most important thing is this, that it is our relationship with Jesus. Because that is that relationship of all relationships. It's our relationship with God. Ultimately, Jesus will come and take us to be His bride. And on that day, we will all be perfect. You know, life may not be so perfect. Our marriage may not be perfect. We have made mistakes. But we can look forward to that day where Jesus said, I will give you this gown, this beautiful gown. It's in Revelation 19. I think it's in verse 9. It says that He will give us that gown, that we will wear that righteousness of Christ. And that is where we become perfect in the eyes of God. You know, it's true that nobody has ever died deprived of sex. You don't have sex, you won't die. I guarantee you. But you don't have God, you die. So I just want to say this to encourage single people. For those of you who are married, you are stuck. You stick with it. You make good with it. Be your best. Do your best. But if you are not married, be devoted to Christ. Be in love with Him. That is a relationship above all else in life. Really, desire Christ. Love Him like your husband. This is what it means. Amen. Let's ask the worship team to come. Shall we all rise? You're going to sing Deeper in Love. You know, marriage really has taught me a lot about my relationship with Christ.
There is a longing only you can fill, a raging tempest only you can still. My soul is thirsty, Lord, to know you as I know. Drink from the before your throne. Take me deeper, deeper in love with you. Jesus, hold me close in your embrace. Take me deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. I just want to love you more and more. How I long to be deeper in love. Sunrise to sunrise, sunrise to sunrise, I will seek your face. Drawn by the Spirit to the promise of your grace. My heart has found in you a
ever wondered why God chose Solomon and called him, maybe God didn't call him the wisest man, but if you go to Sunday school, you will hear that the wisest man on earth is Solomon. How can Solomon be wise when the Bible says he got 700 wives and 300 concubines? This is not smart at all. And how can his story be a lesson for us to learn? Have you ever wondered about that? Because it does not depend on Solomon's wisdom. It depends on God's wisdom. It is God who gave him that wisdom to share. But you do not follow Solomon. Solomon is like all of us. We are imperfect people. But there is one perfect person that we can follow. This perfect person is called Jesus Christ. He doesn't fail. He is that perfect bride. And He is the true wisdom of God. Bridegroom, sorry. And this story is there to tell us that if God wants to teach us something, sometimes God chooses the worst person. You have seen that so many men of God, so-called in the Bible, their life were just messed up. But God used them nevertheless because of His mercy and His grace. God used them as an example to teach us lessons. That God can use us no matter what our past has been. I don't want you to walk out of this place feeling condemned, because the Bible tells us that when the sun rises, God's mercy is renewed. His mercy is new every morning. It's available for us. We can choose to live a new day with our new life devoted to Jesus. Amen. Let me give you the benediction. Now unto Him who is able to keep you from stumbling and to present you before His glorious presence without fault and with great joy. To the only God, our Savior, be glory, majesty, power, and authority to Jesus Christ our Lord before all ages, now and forevermore. Amen. God bless you and have a wonderful week ahead. Do remember to sign up for the various programs in the coming week. God bless you.